calling from a 408 area code. Who's this? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Hello?
Oh, hi. I'm Ari. Ari, I'm calling from the Bay Area.
Hello, Ari, from the Bay Area. What's on your mind?
I had a question regarding the upcoming Iran war, which is being ginned up by this current administration. I was curious because there's several different contentions on sort of what that would entail, and it seems like there's obviously sort of the World War III people that say that automatically because the Russians and the Chinese are heavily invested in Iran, that it would become some sort of potential World War situation. But it seems to me that sort of the Wilkersons and Chomsky's sort of make the argument that the Chinese and the Russians would welcome a war with Iran because they'd actually like to see the United States mired in another disaster in the Middle East. I was just curious what your guys' take was on that, based on the type of people you've had on and your experience with that issue.
I can't imagine anyone in their right mind thinks that we are going to be able to, and I'll let you go and answer this, and we'll give Michael a crack at it. I can't think that anyone in their right mind thinks that we have the ability to win a war with Iran. I think there may be some people who think we could destabilize Iran enough that maybe there would be some type of coup or a revolution, which seems to me would be contrary to sort of every example of when we've had coups or revolutions. The idea of an outside attack is the one thing that sort of cements power in leaderships like that. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Russia and China were like, "Oh yeah, bring it on." This is the type of thing that will alienate you from your allies, but for a couple of rather rickety regimes in the Middle East, and will drain your coffers. I mean, look at where we are relative to the ability we had to project soft power in the world 20 years ago. Right? I mean, and so much of that is a function of the disaster that Iraq was.
Yeah, I think that makes sense to me. I don't know if China and Russia would necessarily want something that catastrophic to happen. And I know that China definitely, in particular, is making a lot of moves right now with the current Iranian government. And Russia also has a good relationship with them. So that could definitely play that could also affect what Russia's doing in Syria. So when I hear, scenarios like that, I guess my default assumption is that these places are still not run by crazy people. And that could be an incredibly crazy, the ramifications of that scenario would first and foremost harm the people of Iran, and then us as another imperial folly. It would probably end us, but it would be a catastrophe for the whole Middle East region, and that would affect China and Russia. So, but it's possible. I mean, we would be done.
There's talk now about us attacking Venezuela. Have you seen this?
I've seen that going back a year. Going back a year. Mike Pompeo threatened that specifically when he was head of the CIA.
It's nuts.
Yeah, do we have to have critical support for Maduro now? What's happening?
We don't have to support Maduro. Maduro and the government there is a failure, but there's no doubt that we have been interfering there going back to the coup in 2002 that the New York Times endorsed, for God's sake. And we can oppose any military or imperial action without supporting a failed government.
Yep.